Hi guys, welcome to my channel Divine Truth Tarot. I'm back today for another reading. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about why the divine masculine ghosts, blocks, or otherwise just kind of ignores the feminine. Why he goes quiet. I am going to pull a few cards. So I am being instructed to go ahead and pull a few cards. We'll see. I'll pull the How to Love Yourself card first by Louise Hay. So first we will check in with that energy, as always delivering a beautiful divine love message for you from the universe and also from your higher self. For just a few quick announcements, guys, thank you so much. We are almost at 2,000 subscribers. That's incredible. Thank you for your support and your love, your outpouring and your comments and your emails. I'm working with some amazing people. I'm loving doing these personal readings for you. If you're new to the channel, please have a look around. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. All of these things greatly help our channel and our community. Helps us spread the message of light and divine empowerment for the divine feminines. And of course, divine masculines welcome here as well. If you'd like a personal reading, you can reach out to me at the email below. I also offer distant Reiki healing sessions. I'm a Reiki 2 healer, level 2 healer, and I also offer true purpose empowerment coaching sessions. So you can get all that information by emailing me. And let's get started. How are you guys? Let me know in the comments below. We are in a new week and we have a new moon in Taurus coming up on the 22nd, 23rd as we move into the sign of Taurus, which is an earth sign. So we're going to be moving out of the fire energy of Aries into a more grounding, earthing energy. So I think that's going to be really stabilizing for us, for the world at large, globally on a global scale, and also individually. And I'm hearing intellectually for some reason. Don't know why, but maybe that makes sense to somebody. So intellectually. Okay, so our card for today, sorry guys, our card for today is I accept all of myself. The work I do on myself is not a goal, it's not a process. Oh, sorry, the work I do on myself is not a goal, it is a process, a lifetime process. I choose to enjoy the process. So this is all about enjoying the process of life as it comes, and I'm also hearing let bygones be bygones, like welcome in what's coming in and then release what's going out. So I'm hearing that very clearly. So Spirit is now saying, okay, Spirit wants me to first talk about what's going on, and then we'll do some cards here. I've got the Psychic Tarot deck, and I may even look into the Starseed Oracle. So let's just have a little chat. Let's have a chit chat, my divine feminines, and of course any divine masculines watching. And you guys know that I may refer to he or she, but we know that it's energy. We accept that. It's just for the intents and purposes of the channel. So let's talk about why the divine masculine, why he may ghost or go quiet or stop responding or leave you on read. You know, any of those scenarios can be quite disconcerting for the divine feminine, and also can bring up a lot of abandonment wounds and a lot of wounds of not being enough. So part of this journey and process is not part of it. The entire journey and process of meeting your twin flame is to find home within yourself, is to find that internal balance of your divine feminine and divine masculine. When you meet your counterpart in the flesh, for those of you that have, because I know not everyone has met them in the flesh, either it's a feeling that you have, you're meeting them in dream state or on the 5D, or you've maybe talked to them online or through friends but haven't yet met in person. So there's lots of different scenarios out there, and they're all just as important and just as potent. Regardless of that, if let's say you're chatting and everything seems fine and then all of a sudden they go quiet, or maybe you have a falling out, right? You've triggered each other and there's an argument or there's some sort of miscommunication, and all of a sudden your counterpart goes quiet. What is going on with your counterpart? Why is a divine masculine in particular, why do they go quiet? This could of course apply to the divine feminine, but for the sake of this reading and for the sake of this video, let's just talk about divine masculine. Well, one of the reasons, and I think one of the main reasons, is he's really afraid of messing it up. So if he's triggered you in the past and he knows that things haven't gone the way that he maybe envisioned them as in his mind, then he's afraid of messing it up, of like mucking it up, I keep hearing. So if he stays quiet or just responds sparsely, or maybe to some of your messages, or maybe responds with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words instead of really interacting or having a conversation with you, he knows he can't really mess it up. And I think he's hoping by doing that he'll continue to not only pick your interest, but also just stay safe. Like, he's playing it safe by kind of just like keeping you at arm's length, which of course can be really hurtful, again, especially if you're dealing with any abandonment wounds that you're healing, codependency wounds, or if you've just, if you're confused and you don't know where this is coming from, it's very easy to take this personally. He might also just be really deep in thought and going through some internal changes, having tower moments in his life. Maybe he's going through a dark night of the soul. And, any of those scenarios can make any masculine want to withdraw, because men solve problems on their own in solitude and in their cave, in the man cave. And women solve problems by talking to anyone and everyone who will listen. So we're very different in the way that we communicate and the way that we solve problems. Women are social and men will retreat. So they're two very different scenarios. So if you guys have had any sort of a falling out, as twin flames often do, if you've gone through some sort of a triggering process, or if there's karmic situations involved and somebody set boundaries, one person set boundaries with the other, then this person needs to go within and really own up to the karma and the karmic cycles that need to close out in their life before they can come back. So we'll come back to that in a minute, because I have more to say on that. But if they're in a dark night of the soul, their first priority is not reaching out to you or probably to anybody. They're really going within and retreating, and spirit is working on them, and they're receiving downloads and attunements, and they're going through the ascension process, and it's uncomfortable physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, psychologically. A dark night of the soul and tower moments are uncomfortable on every level, but particularly for divine masculines who have been so enmeshed in the 3D material physical world. And when all of those things, when the processes and systems in their life start to go, they start to fall away, they start to break apart. And I just saw 717. So those of you, that indicates physical union, and it also just indicates like rounding something into, stability. So yeah, we're talking about the physical world. The divine masculines have been really enmeshed and really codependently connected to the 3D world. Money and cars and possessions and toys and jobs and money again, and relationships that don't serve them, and addictions of some sort, gambling, drugs, alcohol, etc. Even women. And divine masculines are learning that these things are unfulfilling, but in order to be taught that, they're being it's kind of like a spank on the butt by spirit. It's kind of like a slap on the wrist, and spirit saying, no, that's no longer aligned with who you are and who you're becoming and who you signed up to be. When you sign that soul contract, you signed up to be this divine masculine. But first you had to be just a masculine, kind of enmeshed in the 3D physical world. And then you had to have that awakening aha moment by meeting your divine counterpart. And then you start to wake up when you meet your divine feminine. And all of a sudden nothing makes sense in the world, in your life, but everything makes sense because of her. But nothing makes sense, but everything makes sense. But nothing makes sense, but everything makes sense. So it's kind of like a seesaw, teeter-totter is what spirit is showing me, where the divine masculine doesn't really know what's true and what's false. What's real? What can I hold on to? And really the only thing that he can hold on to is the love that he feels for his divine feminine, is that connection that they share. Because it goes beyond the physical. So she's always there. She's always shining her light and guiding her light for him. And that's really the only thing that he can hold on to, and he's realizing that money comes and goes, jobs come and go, karmic partners come and go as they're meant to. Karmic partners are not meant to be for a lifetime. It's too draining and it's too misaligned with the soul of your divine counterpart. Your divine counterpart and you are married already in the spiritual ethereal realms. You are already meant to come together. It's cosmic marriage, it's cosmic partnership. So that karmic partner needs to go. But we'll talk about that in another video, because I want to do a video, and I'm going to do a video talking about the karmic partners, why we need to speak less about them, and why we need to focus more on our connection and how we can do that. Because the ego, you fall into an ego trip or an ego war, if you will, where you feel like you have to talk about them. And if you're constantly talking about them, and, you know, to people or to yourself, or even in, you know, to your counterpart in the 5D, you're focusing, which brings more of that into your reality. Really excited. My microphone fell off. So that brings more of that into your reality. That's my microphone, by the way, that weird thing, pom-pom looking thing. So when you do that, you're basically asking the universe for more of that. And the universe goes, okay, she wants more of the karmic partner. Let's give her more of it. Let's give her more pain. Let's give her more in your face. You know, let's give her more social media posts. So we need to give less attention to that. But that's a topic for a whole nother video. So if you guys want to hear about that, let me know in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up, let me know. And I will definitely create a video about that, because there's loads to say about that. So the divine masculine might be afraid. He might be going through dark night of the soul, or just be deep in thought and need to retreat. He also might be ashamed. He might feel shame for hurting you, and he doesn't know how to face you. So he's basically finding the courage to face you by taking some time out and trying to figure out how that conversation will even go down. He also might be kind of avoiding his karma by facing you, because yes, twin flames can have karma, even though it's not a karmic partner. You can definitely share karma. So he may just be avoiding karma in his life, avoiding the closing out of karmic cycles, and avoiding dealing with the karma with you, which keeps you stuck in that cycle. One of the reasons to retreat, and this is one of the reasons I think Spirit puts separation in place, not that you have to have separation, but I think it's, you know, so both twins, learn to have an ego check and experience ego deaths and end karmic cycles and do the healing they need to do, codependency and not enoughness and all of these things. But also I feel like it is in order to create space for the karma to be cleansed away. You know, it's almost like if you're up in each other's faces and you're constantly just having the same argument or experiencing the same cycle over and over and over, and your partner keeps hurting you in the same way, and you keep hurting them and triggering them in the exact same way, you're just stuck in a cycle on a hamster wheel over and over and over. So Spirit will remove both of you physically in the 3D from each other so that you can get some space and perspective. So that's a possibility as well. This also might be the divine masculine trying to prove to himself, I don't need her. Look, I'm doing fine. I don't need her. I've got my money. Look, I have a great job. I'm important. People love me. I'm fine in my karmic marriage or karmic partnership. It's fine. I mean, it's not fulfilling, but maybe he wants to fake it, and he thinks I can fake it till I make it. But the truth is, not only the astrology of what we're going through right now with Saturn in Aquarius, you know, the age of Aquarius, the dawning of enlightenment. So not only, and of course, you know, the ending of karmic cycles, so new cycles can be birthed on the earth globally. Not only is that happening individually in our lives, but there's just such a push for twin flames and counterparts to come together, because we're here to birth the new earth. This is our mission. The mission is not with a karmic partner. That's done. That's being cleansed. That needs to go. Divine masculines, that needs to go. You have to open up and release and accept this love and light and partnership and this mission with your divine counterpart. It's so much more than the romance. The romance is a big part of it. It's the love of a lifetime. It's the love of all lifetimes. But more than that, it's a mission. And it was created, it was mandated, right? It's like cosmic rules, the cosmic law that twin flames come together in this lifetime, in this world that we're living in. We need twin flames to come together. We need twin flames to rise in their power together. And so he's not going to be able to avoid the karma any longer. He may actually, yeah, I feel like they feel like it might just magically disappear. Like, I'll just focus on my 3D life. I'll just be living my 3D, you know, go back into my ego and live in my 3D world. Everything's fine, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, this is what my culture says, my religion says. And they're just going to try to pretend that everything's okay and basically push the divine feminine away. But the problem is that the power, the divine feminine's presence is so powerful. It illuminates his entire world. It illuminates his thoughts. It illuminates his actions. And there's a merging right now of the counterparts, where the counterparts are coming together energetically. The chakra systems are aligning. Kundalini, people are experiencing Kundalini rising. You know, ascension is happening in dream state and waking state. And you can't ignore it. You can't push it away. This is cosmic law. You can't just pretend it's not there. And divine masculine, I just saw 1444. Thank you. Confirmation. The divine masculine is trying to, I shouldn't say is, maybe trying to just like wish it all away and pretend like it never happened. But that's not going to be possible. So don't worry, Divine Feminine, don't focus on that. I also feel strongly that karmic cycles are needing to close right now. And I'm getting the years 2020 to 2023 or 2022. Other readers are getting 2020 to 2025, including Guided by Angels, the beloved Liz. So we're seeing, you know, different years, but I'm just seeing like a progression of timelines. I'm seeing that the timelines are going to accelerate, and we're going to start drawing in and magnetically attracting and manifesting these unions much quicker than we believed. You have to stop focusing on the how, because when we focus on the how, it seems impossible for a lot of twin flames to even be together. There's countries, you know, there's oceans, you know, distance apart. There's religion, there's kids, there's marriage, there's culture, there's this, there's that, belief systems. And if you focus on that, again, you're going to get more of that. You're going to get more proof that it's impossible. You want to really push those thoughts away, cancel, delete those thoughts, introduce the thought of union happening, of union being imminent. And I do feel, though, currently, like these karmic cycles needing to close out, you know, is why the divine stepped in and said, okay, we need to create some separation, because the majority of twins are currently in separation at the time this video is filmed. And the divine is really holding the divine masculine back out of protection for the divine feminine and protection for your union. Because if you just continue on that hamster wheel of going on the same cycle over and over and over and over again, it can do damage to your union. It can do damage to the connection. So the divine is really stepped in just to protect the twins and protect the unions. So I'm going to draw a few cards. So that's really what I have to say about the divine masculines really stepping back, why it's happening, and how it's not necessarily even something the divine masculine wanted to do, but it's something the divine, right, that spirit stepped in and said this needs to happen. So the divine masculine a lot of times doesn't even know why he does what he does. He's doing it because he know he's being called or compelled to do something. So just understand that. Don't just blame your counterpart. So the few cards that jumped out right now both speak about financial, material changes, material and spiritual prosperity. And one thing I want to really note about this card is I see the ring, of course, the ring on the middle finger and the ring finger. But what's interesting about that is there's a change here. You know, this is indicating changes. So I feel like maybe that ring's going to go from this finger to that finger. You know, maybe this is really the divine masculine preparing himself to step away from those karmic marriages and karmic partnerships. It's interesting that they use the hand for this card, and that this card continues to come up in almost every single reading I do for the twins. And material and spiritual prosperity. So, you know, with these changes, I feel like the divine masculine is really starting to he's creating a blueprint for the future that he sees not only for himself, but for his divine feminine. And he's really starting to stand up and rise up in his power. You see, even the fountains are rising up, standing up. He's starting to really ground himself into this reality that it's possible. And I do feel like with this card, the divine masculine is realizing that his prosperity lies with his divine feminine, not with any karmic partners, not with a job, not with the money in the bank account, not with the house or the country club or the possessions or any of those things, the boats, the cars, etc., etc. But it lies with his divine feminine, because what he really seeks is triumph with his divine feminine. You know, this is the Chariot card in the traditional tarot deck. So this really speaks about rushing in. And I feel like the divine masculine is first saying, I'm going through these changes, divine feminine. And as I'm going through these changes, I just want you to know that I am going to rush in when the time is right, because I want to bring you this prosperity. But I have to sort some things out. I have to separate from this karmic partner and this karmic situation and these addictions. And I'm healing these things behind the scenes. So you have to understand, you have to know that the divine masculine is healing. He's not sitting there twiddling his thumbs. This is not easy for him. This is not a pleasant process for him. Passion ignited. So we have crown chakra activation here. Again, I talked about Kundalini rising. We talked about the merging of the twins' chakra systems, the merging of energy, which is happening right now as we speak. Right on target, right exactly when it's supposed to happen for cosmic consciousness. And this is the divine masculine saying, I feel a lot of passion for you, divine feminine. You know, as this new week begins, as we move from Aries into Taurus, I want to ground that passion. So Aries season is all about, you know, fire sign passion, And I feel like a lot of that was in the thoughts, and a lot of feminines were receiving a lot of sensual and sexual energies. I posted a video about that if you want to check it out. It's really fun. It's basically the sexual energies of divine masculine and the messages he had for his feminine. So I posted that maybe a week ago. So you can check that out. But I really feel like he wants to ground this passion now into the physical in a more sensual way. So we've moved a lot from, it's not that the divine masculine doesn't sexually want the divine feminine, but we've moved away from the overt sexual energies and nature more into the sensual, you know, the kisses and the holding hands, and really just starting to see a real future and triumph and success with his divine feminine. So he's really feeling positive at the beginning of this week. Patience and planning. So he's letting you know he's working on things behind the scenes. I feel like, you know, there's 3 red cards here, and red is really indicating the material world. So he's saying, hey, feminine, you know, understand that as we move into Taurus, I'm really grounding things into the material world, and just have patience. Have patience. We hate the P word, but we need it. Divine feminines, that's probably one of your soul contract lessons, is to learn patience, right? I know for me, it's timing. It's letting go of timing and really letting God and the universe and spirit take the wheel. You will experience so much release and joy when you can just let spirit take the wheel, and you no longer feel like you have to, sorry guys, allergies. You no longer feel like you have to control everything, because you can't control it anyway. So when you can let that go, it's such a relief. So we have third eye chakra. So intuition, the divine masculine is saying, look, I'm starting to really pay attention to my intuition. And on the bottom of the deck, what do we have? Transformation. So the divine masculine is saying, I am transforming. I am transforming, and I'm starting to see things clearly, and I'm starting to really trust my intuition. My intuition is leading me to you, and I want to hop on my chariot, I want to hop on my horse and run to you. But first, I know that I have to ground things into the physical. The divine masculine is really understanding that he cannot come forward to his divine feminine with crumbs anymore, with just promises, with something that's not grounded. He knows that his divine feminine not only wants, but deserves to have that happily ever after. And I'm not talking about fairy tale happily ever after. I'm talking about a real grounded partnership and stability. And he wants to be able to fulfill the promises, you know, that he is giving his divine feminine. So he's saying, I am transforming. I'm not the man that I used to be, and I'm not the man that I was and that you thought you knew. So this is also the death card. So there's some Scorpio energy here. You know, this is speaking of the Phoenix rising. This is speaking of rapid changes. And also, you know, I associate the death card with tower moments, because, and just being able to really, oh, I keep on losing this. It's weird. Yeah, really just being able to use the changes that are happening in his life. He's starting to see that something positive is going to come from this, because at the bottom of the deck we have triumphant success, okay? So spiritual and material prosperity, triumph. We have the triumph card, transformation, death, okay? It's saying that he has to go through this transformation. He has to go through this. It's a necessary cycle, this death cycle, this separation, in order to have the triumph. And then the other card that we have at the bottom of the deck is spiritual union. This is the Lover's card. And 2 of Cups. So you're guaranteed success in this union. Continue to focus on the fact that your divine masculine is transforming. Don't focus on whatever you think is going on behind the scenes, feminine, because whatever you think is going on behind the scenes is not what's really going on. I can promise you that for any of us. You think you know, but you have no idea. That's what Spirit just said. You think you know, but you have no idea. Stop being cocky, and stop also putting your divine masculine down. Guys, you have to understand that when you're putting your divine masculine down in any way, you're really putting yourself down, and you're hurting yourself, because you are him and he is you. You share a chakra system. He can feel that. And what he needs right now is forgiveness. He needs support. He needs strength, and he needs you shining your light. And we have love begins. So, you know, this is the promise of union. This is the promise of union. This is triumph. This is everything. This is financial, material success. This is the pentacles, you know, promising that happy, healthy, stable home. This is opening up your intuition. Patience and planning. Planning so he can bring this in. He's transforming right now, divine feminine. He's transforming to become the king that you desire and that you need. So can we have a message from the divine masculine to the divine feminine? Partnerships and alliances. He sees you as his divine partner. He wants to get back into an alliance with you. He wants to come into mission with you. He's tired of these cycles. He's tired of any games that might have been playing, any ego games that maybe one or both of you was playing out. He's tired of the arguments. He's tired of the miscommunication. He's tired of being in separation. He's tired of not talking to you and not seeing you. He's missing you. He's really, really starting to understand that you are the one for him, that his path in life was always going to lead him to you. And he's starting to really trust that triumph is a possibility in this partnership. This is the Four of Wands card to me. So foundations and achievements. He wants to bring that healthy, happy home. He wants to bring that happily ever after to his divine feminine, that family, that happiness, that joy, that stability, that groundedness. Bring it in and drawing it down into the physical, really grounding in that happiness and joy. So, oh, we've got wisdom on the bottom too. So this is the Hierophant. Let me just double check. I believe that's the Hierophant. Yes, this is the Hierophant. So this is really, the divine masculine is a teacher right now. Or sorry, is a student right now. He's both a student and a teacher. But there is, you know, he's learning right now. He's gaining wisdom. And he's maturing spiritually, which is going to help him mature emotionally and show up as the king and as the emperor versus the page or the knight. So he's really starting to mature, and he's letting you know, this is part of why. I also just heard this is part of why I had to go. This is part of why I had to create separation, and this is part of why you're feeling and seeing my absence in the 3D, is because on other realms I'm out there learning and growing. I'm dreaming. I am starting to unravel who I am and what I'm here for. And he's going to be bringing his light to the world, because if you can see here, the sun is shining on him radiantly, right? He's reflecting the sun is shining on him. And I see this as a village here, and maybe, a poor family, and he's going to bestow his blessings onto others. He's starting to step into his role as a spiritual teacher, but first he has to be the student. He has to be the student to become the teacher. So he's letting you know that he's transforming. Can we get one last message from the divine feminine to the divine masculine? Oh, divine feminine. Okay, so divine feminine is saying, these obstacles and challenges, I feel them in the physical, and I feel like the divine feminine's really fed up. There's a lot of divine feminines out there who are really fed up at this time with just what's going on, with not being able to see any change or reality or groundedness in the 3D. I feel like the divine feminine's like, I give up. I'm so tired of this. It's almost like she wants to just kind of give it up, like say, I'm done for good. And the divine feminine says, fine, I'm going to work on my material world. I'm going to bring in and draw in abundance and blessings in my own life. I'm going to take that course. I'm going to, study that thing I've always wanted to study. I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to build my business. I have all this downtime. And the divine feminine, you're in a little bit of mental conflict. So please release that mental conflict, because this is really ego fears and doubts and insecurities. And I was going to stop there, but I want to get some messages back. So what does the divine masculine have to say back to the divine feminine? The divine feminine who's in this mental conflict. He's saying, stop believing that he's deceiving you. He's asking you to believe that he's not deceiving you, and he's asking you to believe and trust in him. He's also saying that he's having some throat chakra blockages right now, and that he's working on that. So he's letting you know that he's working on that. He's also working on personal power. He's working on really balancing out his chakras, because we have third eye, throat chakra, and solar plexus, which is your center and your seat of personal power. What's really interesting about that, where is it? Is we had, the Hierophants, which was all about, the sun shining down on him and him being his own personal sun. He's becoming the Hierophant. He's becoming that spiritual teacher, and he's working on believing in himself again and believing that he's worthy of you and of this love and of happiness and joy. And he's saying, I feel it too, feminine. I feel the loss of you. I feel it in my heart. So connect with me in the heart space, because that's where you'll find me. So I am going to end the reading there, guys. And again, if you'd like a personal reading with me, you can reach out to me at the email below. All right, I give up. My microphone keeps dropping. If you'd like to work with me for Reiki healing or coaching, please reach out to me as well. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, watching. Thank you for all of your amazing support and comments. It really helps me continue to keep creating these videos for you and creating this content. And I'm really in awe of the growth of the channel. I thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.